What's up, everybody? 32 Icon here. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm doing well myself. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already, in good faith that I will continue bringing you great content. So today we're going to talk about two full-size handguns, and one is the CZ P10F, the other is the Glock 17. So let's go ahead and get in this review. And the guns are unloaded. So when we start talking about these guns, first of all, they're both great in their own right, okay? When I went out to shoot them, I had a great time shooting both of them. And for this video, I'm shooting the Vickers G17 edition, all right? So here we are. Let's start with the grip. All right, so the grip texture on here is very comfortable. I know the first edition of P10Cs, the grip texture was really rough, and after about 75 rounds or so, you really start to feel that bite in your hand. They really changed that up on this new release. It is not much bite, but it does not move, so I really like that. You also have a back strap that comes in small, medium, and large. Of course, you have the logo right here. I really like how it felt in the hand. Again, it was very comfortable and I really enjoyed it. Also, it has an undercut right in here, so it allows you to get your knuckles underneath that firearm and get a great purchase on the grip. For the Vickers, it's a rough texture frame, and I really like that because if you put your hands on a standard Glock, a lot of people get stipple work done to it because the grip is just so slippery. But Vickers, he did a really good job with getting that rough texture frame, and you can really get a nice purchase on this, and it does not need any stippling. The Gen 3 version does not come with back straps, but I think the Gen 4 and 5 do. Under here, it doesn't really have an undercut, so a lot of the times you get that Glock knuckle, but because the grip is so long, you're able to kind of get your hands underneath it, and it's really not a problem. I think the Glock knuckle for me is more of a problem on the 19 rather than the 17. Oh, before I forget, the grips. If you notice, there are finger grooves. I'm not really a fan of finger grooves, although I will say on the 17, it doesn't bother me as much as the 19 does. The 19, my fingers don't really fit in the finger groove, so it kind of bothers me a little bit. Not enough to not want to shoot it, but it's noticeable when I pick it up. But on the 17, not so much. On the P10F, it does not have any finger grooves, and I really do enjoy not having any of that on the grip. Round count, Glock is 17 plus 1. The CZ is 19 plus 1. So you will notice if you pair them together that the grip on the CZ is a little longer, and that's because it's 2 rounds more in the CZ. I know there are a lot of times that I don't talk about the capacity in each particular firearm, and that's because I live in a restricted state, so it really doesn't matter to us because we're only allowed to have 10 rounds, whether it's double stack, single stack, it doesn't matter. So a lot of the times I forget to talk about it because we've been living with 10 rounds for quite some time now. So, you know, I know you guys are like, oh, how many rounds? You know, is it 15? Is it 17? Is it 19? It's always 10 for us. So, you know, that's why I normally forget to talk about it. But yes, the CZ has 19 plus 1. The 17 has 17 plus 1. All right, if you look at the barrel lengths, I'm trying to pair these together, you'll see that the barrel length on the Glock is just a little shorter than the CZ. The CZ barrel length is about, I think it's 4.5 inches. So the Glock is about 1/4, maybe 1/8 of an inch less than that, okay? All right, let's move into the slide. So the slide on the P10F has front serrations and rear serrations, and they really work. And I will also mention that this gun is fairly new. I'm able to manipulate the slide with such ease. That speaks to the engineering of CZ and how they're able to allow the user to comfortably shoot this gun. On the 17, this is a slide done by Low Key Tactical. The 17 does not have front serrations in the Gen 3. Of course, it came with the rear serrations, but I got slide work done, and I believe this is the Uncle Caspaccio from Low Key Tactical. By the way, I got a couple of their slides, and I love their slides. But anyway, so back to the slide. The serrations that Low Key did on here allows me to manipulate the slide. However, the tolerances in the 17 is really tight, and this is practically a new gun too. I haven't shot this much, maybe 75 rounds through it, if that. And this has about, I don't know, 120 rounds through it, and it's still, you know, just easier to manipulate. Okay, so nonetheless, I really like it, and because the barrel length is a little longer, it gives me a little more sight radius when shooting it. I found that they both, for the most part, stay on target. There's not a lot of muzzle flip. Even with the 17 being a little shorter with the radius, it's not a lot of flip. I was able to really control both of them. So I was very happy about that. And you'll see in the video, I think on my target, most of the target is from the CZ, right? If you look closely on the bottom left, there's a circle on the bottom left. That was the 17 that I shot. So the rest of the target is all the P10F. In the lower left-hand corner is the 17. I felt like I was on target with both of them, and that brings me to the sights. On the P10F, so you have luminescent metal sights right out of the box, okay? So if they're charged during the day, meaning with natural sunlight or a flashlight, and you're charging them, they will later on illuminate at night for a period of time. They are not traditional night sights. However, they're pretty accurate and they have a low profile. So I was able to kind of pick up the target rather easily. But I will say that if it were up to me, I would want a fiber optic sight on here, like Dawson Precision with the blacked out rear, or I would want some Ameriglows or Trijicons with a blacked out rear and a front post that will pop. But nonetheless, I was still able to stay on target with it. I felt that with the 17, these are the Vickers sights. So if you notice, there's a bright fiber optic green front post, and the back is blacked out, but it has a little U shape. And I really love these sights. Like, I was able to really stay on target. They're kind of high, so they're not really suppressor height sights, but they were pretty high. So it helped me to kind of really align my eye to that front post. The sights on the CZ is factory, but again, I could change that out. But I really did enjoy these Vickers sights. Let's move down to the frame, and particularly the place where you rest your thumb. So when you're holding the firearm, there's a place, I'm left-handed of course, but if you look closely, there's like an indentation in the grip. So it allows me to put my thumb there if I wanted to shoot one-handed. I haven't noticed that it works with two hands. Like, yes, it probably fits the palm right here of my right hand, and then I can, you know, line it up. But really, I find that it's beneficial. It's like a little ledge there. So it's kind of beneficial when I'm shooting one-handed to place my thumb right there. On the CZ, it does not have that. It's just real smooth and almost slick. So if you're shooting one-handed, you know, you're gonna really have to grip your knuckles and your thumb around, because it's not gonna hold as tight as it would if I was shooting the 17. Also, on the CZ P10F, It's very difficult to tell on the screen, but there's a little indentation here where your thumb can pull out that mag if you need it to. It's very subtle, so you probably can't see it on camera, whereas in the 17, it is not here. I can't remember if it's on the newer generations. It very well may be. I know at one point Glock put it right here and people did not like that. So I don't know if they went back and flared it and did it on the side, but on the CZ it's there. Let's get into the mag release. So on the Vickers, it is on this side. I have not yet tried to switch it over. I'm not sure if I can, only because I haven't shot this gun much, so it hasn't really been on the forefront of my mind to switch it over. But on the P10F, it is on the same side for right-handed shooters, but you can also switch it to the left side right there. So it's not ambi, but you can certainly switch it over. The slide lock, of course, is ambi, and I really like that feature, of course. On the Vickers and on most Glocks, except for the Gen 5, everything is catered to right-handed shooters. But one of the good things about it is that if you notice, there's this ledge right here, and it kind of protrudes out on the slide lock. So if it were locked and I wanted to use my index finger, I can do that as well. But usually, I only do that after, I'm cleaning the firearm, or, I'm just looking at it and I lock it back and then I want to use it. But if I just inserted the mag, then I'll just charge the slide, so I don't use this at all. Okay, let's go down to the trigger. So we all know that CZ is infamous for their triggers on the P10 series. So again, this gun is unloaded. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the trigger. So if you notice here, all right, it's smooth. It is smoother than the first series of P10s. And I've gone over this trigger before. It is very smooth. You hit a wall, and it's very audible and tactile. The reset is right there. You're right at the wall again, and there you go. So some say that's about a 4.5 pound pull, 4.2 pounds. It feels like it depends on where you're pulling it on the trigger itself, but it is very light. It's very audible. It's very tactile. You feel that wall. It feels great right out of the box. There's really nothing that you have to do to that trigger. Now, there are some aftermarket triggers that people put in there, because I didn't tell you this on my last video, but on my P10C, I totally forgot to tell you this. I don't even know why I didn't. This little, I don't even know what this is called. This little dingus right here. That's my name for it. And it could have been my grip, but when I first started shooting it, it aggravated my pad of my finger. And so I was like, why is it aggravating it? It was almost like it got caught between the trigger itself and this little piece. I don't know, it's like the skin pinched it, and it kind of aggravated me. So I kind of switched up my grip a little bit and I was fine. Now, again, I haven't shot the P10C in so long. I wonder if I go back and shoot it, will it aggravate me, or have I advanced with my grip where now I kind of know what I'm doing? So I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting. I have to go back and shoot that firearm. It's been about, I want to say it's been a year since I shot it. So that'll be interesting to see if it still aggravates me. But when I shot this, I didn't even notice it. That's probably why I forgot to bring it up, because I didn't have any problems with this at all. And I know other people had that problem that I had with the pinching of this finger and the trigger. So I know I'm not the only one. But again, it didn't happen on here. So yeah, I guess it was fine. But I have to go back and shoot the P10C, see if it still does that. So the trigger on here, all right. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, there's front serrations here as well. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's front serrations here on the front of the trigger guard, just like it is here on the CZ. I know that some people like to shoot like this, like to hold it here and shoot. I don't do that, but a lot of people do like that, so I think that's why they put that there. Okay, anyway, back to the trigger. So Glock is known to have a 5.5 pound trigger pull, and it's pretty consistent with all of their lines. So here we go. As far as it being audible and tactile, it very well is, but here we go. Not as smooth as the P10F, a shorter take up for certain, but not as smooth, very gritty. So that's why people like to change out the trigger, or they like to polish the internals. But here we go. So a little gritty, shorter take up than the P10F at the wall. Okay. Here we go. Reset. And there you go. So the P10F definitely has a better trigger, hands down, period. The Glock is tactile and it's audible, but there's a little over travel once you get to the wall. So when you get to the wall, you still have to pull it just a little bit. So, there is a little over travel, whereas when you are using a CZ, once you get to that wall, that's it. You know that the next pull is going to fire. What else have we not talked about? Shootability. I felt like I could shoot them both very, very well. Now, again, the sights on the 17 was a little bit better, but I felt that I was still able to get a good grip on them both. I still was able to get a good sight picture. They felt good in my hand. I didn't feel like I was losing control. I felt like the entire time I was shooting, I was in control, and it made me feel good. Like, I'm very confident with both of these firearms. I will say that, they can be used for home defense, duty pistols. I'm not in military or law enforcement, but I see that a lot of law enforcement do carry the 17. Military and other security personnel carry CZs as well. So if you are interested in one and you decide, hey, I want to have one for home defense, just to let you know, you can put a weapon mounted light on here. This CZ has 2 slots, and the 17 has obviously that 1 slot that they're infamous for. We all know that Glock has a multitude of aftermarket accessories that you can build like Legos. CZ is coming along, okay? They don't have as many aftermarket parts, and frankly, I will say that right out of the box, they're pretty good, period. So it's not like they need to change much. When they come out, they are ready to go. Whereas Glock comes out, for the average person, they're ready to go. But for most people, you have to change a lot of things to make it into your own, to make it very comfortable for you. Again, CZ, for the most part, you get it out of the box, it's good to go. Oh, so last thing when we talk about shootability, I felt like when I was shooting the firearm with the CZ, that it felt wonderful. It was very comfortable. Again, I wish I could have changed the back strap so that it was a medium back strap, but it was on small and that was fine. Notice that my thumb was able to wrap around the beaver tail and it felt very comfortable. I didn't have any problems out of it at all. When I picked up the 17, my thumb fits around, but my knuckle is right here. And I noticed this the first time I shot the 17. I noticed it a little bit on my 19s as well. I don't know if it's because I'm gripping the gun too tight, but I noticed that I tend to get a bruise right here, and it's kind of red here. I don't know if you can see it, but I get a bruise when I shoot the 17, and it's right here. I don't know if it's because I'm gripping it too high. I don't even know if you guys can see that. I'm not sure what it is, but I know that every time I go to shoot, I end up hurting my knuckle. Like it hurts. Whereas on the CZ, I didn't feel it at all. It wasn't a problem at all until I picked up the 17. So that's worth noting. Again, it could be because I have really big hands, and also I like a high grip. I really like to get my hand up under that grip as high as I can when I'm shooting. So that may or may not be a problem for you. It's certainly a problem for me, but nonetheless, I still enjoy shooting it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys are treating one another with kindness, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Peace.